Good morning, children.
Good morning, ma'am.
Ma'am.
We were discussing about food poisoning and food preservation. What is food poisoning? How is food poisoning caused? Mariam, what results in food poisoning?
Ma'am, last class I was not there.
That is not at all an excuse, Mariam. If you if you were absent, what you are supposed to do? Why we are uploading the recorded sessions? That is meant for the absentees. Dennis?
Yes, ma'am. Food poisoning is caused by the consumption of food spoiled by microbes.
Okay, what makes the food poisonous, Dennis?
Ma'am, the microbes makes it spoiled.
Some microorganisms will grow on these food items and they will release some toxins. And if you consume that toxic substances, you get food poisoning. And I told you that there are different food preservation techniques by means of which you can avoid food poisoning and food wastage. So today we'll be seeing different methods of food preservation. I think last class you suggested some methods, no? Am I right? You were listing out different methods of food preservation. So today we are going to see some of the common methods of food preservation. First method, chemical method. By adding chemicals, we can preserve food. When I say chemicals, not harmful chemicals, those which are not harmful to human beings, such chemicals can be added so as to preserve food. For example, salt, sugar, oils. So all these are some substances, some chemicals, common chemicals which we use in our day-to-day life. So they have the capacity to preserve food. Food items like pickles can be preserved by using common chemicals like salts and edible oils. You might have seen your mother or your grandmother preparing pickles. So when they prepare pickles, with what we make pickles? With anything we can make, no, vegetables or fruits, or there are different types of pickles. And when they make pickles, actually we are not preparing pickle for finishing it within one day. Am I right? You might, but that is a different thing. But actually we prepare it for a longer term use so that we can preserve it for years or months. So in order to preserve it, in order to keep it for a longer period, we add some substances. You know that the pickles will be more salty than normal food items. We add excess salt into it. Am I right?
Yes,
and those which you're buying from the shops also, you know that it will be having too much salt because these are added as a preservative. And when we have pickles, we don't take it as a curry. We just add some amount of it just to add flavor to your food, just to enhance the taste of your food. And we add so much of oil also, more amount of oil in such a way that it will form a layer on the top. Why? So when it is forming a layer on the top, that also can prevent the attack by microbes. And sometimes your mother and grandmother, you might have seen them doing, they take a clean cotton cloth, dip it in oil, and then they will spread it just at the top of this pickles. Have you noticed it? Have you seen it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that also will help in, so that will provide a layer of oil if they don't want to pour too much amount of oil. By doing so, so this will form a protective layer on the top of the pickles and the food items. So these pickles can be prevented from spoilage. So these are some of the common chemicals that we use to preserve food items. Then, when jams, squashes, etc. are prepared on a commercial scale, on a large scale, they will add some chemicals like sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfite, a small amount, so that in such a way that these are not harmful to our body. A small amount. This is actually these substances. You know that you might be thinking adding these chemicals can be dangerous to our health, but these are added in trace amounts, in very small amounts, so that it won't affect our health. And these are approved ones. These chemicals are approved. Example, sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfite. Small amount of
Ma'am,
these.
they dilute it and put.
No, it is not dilution. They add a small amount of this when they prepare pickles. So in anyhow you can add, you can mix it with water and add. But we, as far as possible, we avoid the moisture content. So this can be mixed up with the jams and squashes being prepared so that it can remain fresh or it can be preserved for a longer time, or its shelf life can be enhanced. You know that jams and all, even if you don't have to keep it inside the refrigerator, you can keep it as such outside. It won't get damaged because the moisture content has been completely removed. In the case of jams and squashes, definitely you know that there will be water content, but these addition of these chemicals will help in preserving them. Sometimes we get it in the form of syrups also. Then we have to dilute with water. Both are available. As such, we can mix to water and drink, or syrup like in small bottles you get. Then that concentration they might have mentioned, and the amount of water with which it should mix also will be mentioned. Different types are available. So all these they add in preparing all these, they will add small amount of chemicals like sodium metabisulfate and sodium benzoate in allowed amounts. So they are not adding too much amount of these substances in allowed amounts, and these are also approved and certified that they will not cause any harm to human health, provided these are used in the limited quantity. So these chemicals, all these chemicals used for preserving food items, you can call as preservatives. So the first two, what I mentioned, whether it is salt or sugar or even edible oils, they are being used on a day-to-day basis. Whereas sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfite, usually we add them when these are being prepared on a commercial scale or on a large scale. Once again, I will repeat, the first method of food preservation is chemical method. As the name suggests, we add some chemicals to enhance the shelf life of these food substances like pickles, jams, squashes, etc. In jams and squashes, when prepared on a large scale, we add small amount of chemicals like sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfite. Now moving on to the next method. Already we mentioned about salt in chemical method. Apart from that, there are certain food items which are preserved by means of, by using salt. Already you had mentioned in the last class about adding mangoes or even different vegetables or other raw fruits. So like the mango when it is not ripe. So you add it into salt water. Usually once it is ripe, we prepare jams or squashes, etc. with that. But when it is ripe or different other vegetables, you can just add it into salt and can be preserved for, you might have heard about upumanga and all. It will remain like that fresh for years. And the more as years increase, also the taste also will be enhanced. Food items, not only these vegetables and fruits, even food items like fish, meat, amla, raw mangoes, tamarind, etc. can be preserved by using common salt. Either we add these food substances, like in the case of vegetables and all, we add them to salt water, you can preserve it like that. Or else you can apply salt on these food products and then you can dry it under the sun. And in such a way, you know that fish, we preserve it for a longer time by making it salted fish. You apply salt on it and dry it under the sun. Even meat can be preserved in this way. And tamarind, that also you all might have seen these at home. Like tamarind, salt will be rock salt will be sprinkled on that. It will be dried under the sun, and salt as well as the presence of sunlight will reduce the moisture content. The lesser the moisture content, the longer will be their shelf life. Food items like fish, meat, amla, raw mangoes, tamarind, etc. can be preserved by adding common salt, because these both sugar as well as salt, they will help in reducing the moisture content. And that is how these food items can be preserved for a longer time when you add salt into it. See here, you can see meat, fish. Then salted amla. Amla is added just like mangoes. Amla or gooseberry is added to salt water. And you can, and the taste also will be enhanced. Your mouth is watering, children. Are your mouths watering now seeing all these? Oh, seeing tamarind, I think definitely. Whether you like it or not, you feel like eating it, no? Water comes. Your mouth starts watering. You observe. You all had your breakfast? You had your breakfast? No, yet to have. Then definitely mouth will be watering. Okay, now once again I'll repeat. Preservation by adding common salt. Sodium chloride, the common salt that you use at home. Different food items like fish, meat, amla, raw mangoes, tamarind, etc. Many more. Many more are there. They have listed a few can be preserved. Either you can add them to salt water or you can apply salt on it and you can preserve it for a longer time. See, fresh fish, you cannot keep it outside for a long period of time. Even after a few hours, it will get spoiled. But if it is a salted fish, it can remain for a fresh, not fresh, remain in that particular condition for a long period of time. Then, preservation by sugar. Just like salt, sugar also will help in reducing the moisture content, and jams, jellies, squashes, etc. can be preserved by using sugar solution. See, jams, jellies, squashes. So all these can be preserved by adding sugar. So sugar and salt are good preservatives because both of them will help in reducing the moisture content of the food items, and hence it can be preserved for a longer time. Sugar reduces the moisture content and prevents the growth of microbes. In the previous chapter, we had learned the more the moisture content, the easier for the microbes to thrive on it and to spoil it. But when the moisture content is reduced by applying sugar and salt, the microbes also cannot survive there. Prithvi, are you following? Am I going fast? Are you able to understand?
Ma'am, can you show the previous slides?
Okay, I will show you the previous slide. Okay, I will show. This one or the previous one, children?
And this one.
Okay. Do you like jams, jellies, etc.?
Yes.
No. Yes. You prepare it at home?
Sometimes, ma'am.
Sometimes. No. Completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Both sugar and salt can be. Yes? Who called me? Both sugar and salt can be used for preserving food items because both will help in reducing the moisture content of the food items. Once the moisture content is reduced, the microbes cannot thrive there and hence these items will get preserved. Yes, Prithvi. Can I change?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This preservation by oil and vinegar. Already I told you about adding oil to preserve food items, even vinegar. In pickles, we add vinegar. Vinegar can be used for preserving different food items. Both oil and vinegar, or in the presence of this oil and vinegar, microbes cannot survive. So as microbes cannot survive in the presence of oil and vinegar, these are used as preservatives. What is vinegar? What is the chemical name for vinegar? Huh?
Acetic acid.
Louder. Louder, Kiran. You were correct.
Acetic acid.
Acetic acid. So in presence of oil and vinegar, these microbes cannot survive, and that is why we use these for preserving food items. Vegetables, fruits, fish, and meat are often preserved by this method. So we preserve vegetables, fruits, etc. like this, but fish and meat are not so common, like just by adding it into vinegar along with salt, like lemon, mango and all, we do that. But in some places, even fish and meat are also preserved in vinegar. See, here you can see, I don't know whether here anybody, but not very common, adding fish and meat into vinegar. We dry them and store or apply salt and preserve, but this method is also in practice. You want to see it again?
Yes, ma'am.
Use of oil and vinegar can prevent the spoilage of pickles. Say, for example, pickles, because microbes cannot survive in the presence of oil and vinegar. And that is why these are used as preservatives. And the different food items that can be preserved in this manner are vegetables, fruits, fish, and meat. So that was the fourth method of food preservation.
Excuse me,
First
ma'am.
one, yes.
Ma'am, if vinegar kills bacteria, then is it good to have vinegar?
Simply, just vinegar alone.
Not just vinegar or adding anything with it. Is it good to have?
In small amounts, because if you have too much amount of vinegar, then that can cause acidity. Like we say, no, apple cider vinegar that has got so many medicinal properties and all. But whatever it is, taking too much won't be good. But in small amounts, okay. But otherwise, it can cause too much amount of these sour products can cause acidity. Okay. So anything which is taken in excess can have its own disadvantages. Small amounts, it's okay. And we have so many useful bacteria also in our body. All the microbes in our body are not harmful. So by taking in so much of these acidic, salt, and as such, children, I told you that pickles can be preserved in this manner, but that doesn't mean that pickles are good for health. A small amount. And that also on a regular basis, if you have, all these can lead to acidity, because too much salt and too much pungent means the chilies will be more, either you add raw chilies or chili powder we add, and vinegar will be there. So regularly eating all these can cause acidity, can cause severe gastric problems. So it is better to avoid all these products to have on a regular basis. And small amount. Some people I've seen them eating pickles simply. Like as a time pass, as snacks, they used to take it in a bowl and they used to have. You people do that? Admit, tell the truth.
And all in
Huh?
salt water. Preserved in salt water.
That you keep on eating, no? But too much salt is also not good for our health.
No, ma'am, my father will eat like that.
Okay, some amount, it's okay. Only your father, not you.
I don't like that.
Okay, some amount is okay, and that too regularly having too much salty, too much pungent items on a regular basis, not at all good for our health. Once in a while you can have. Okay, pickles also, that amount should be limited. You should not have it just like having a side dish like a curry. Just like curry we can have enough amount, but just like that pickle you have to reduce a small amount, is small spoon. That should be the amount of pickle that you are having, but that too not with every meal. Clear? Because having all these can cause gastric problems in the long run. I'm not saying that today you have pickle, next day you will get affected by disease. It's not that. When you have it for a longer period on a regular basis. Is it time, children? 10:30 is our time, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next one. Heat and cold treatment. This also, I think we had discussed. Heating and cooling, that also can help in preserving the food items. That is why we boil water, or we say that drinking water should be boiled. It should be sterilized. If you don't have a water purifier, you can go for boiling. And boiling, it is not that as soon as the bubbles start to appear, if you turn the stove off, then the germs will not be killed. It is said that the water should come to rolling boil for a few minutes. Maybe 10-15 minutes, it should come to rolling boil. Only then, by the time, gas, LPG is too expensive and you cannot afford. But I think in all the houses now we have water purifiers. If these are of good brand, then you can depend on that. Otherwise, the water should be boiled and then only you should drink it, because boiling will help in killing the germs. Many microorganisms, not 100%, but still majority of the microbes can be killed. And milk also we boil so that it can be, the germs in that can be killed and it can be preserved a little longer. It doesn't mean that you can preserve it indefinitely just by boiling. It's not that. When compared to raw milk, if you boil it, it can be kept outside for a longer time. Low temperature. And coming to the cold treatment, once you keep the leftover food items inside the refrigerator, it can be preserved because inside the refrigerator the temperature is too low. So at high temperature and at low temperature, there in the beginning, like I think when we learned about microorganisms, I told you that they can survive in all the extreme conditions. But that is applicable not to all microbes. So some of the microbes, they can survive in very high temperature, and even in the freezing conditions also there are microbes which can survive. So, but majority of them, they'll die upon boiling, and when the temperature is too low, they cannot survive. That is why we keep different food items inside the refrigerator so that we can preserve it for some more time. Okay, so even keeping inside the refrigerator and boiling, both heat and cold treatment to a certain extent will help in preserving the food materials.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, Faisal is raising his hand.
What happened, Faisal? Was it by mistake? Faisal, any doubt?
Ma'am, by mistakenly, sorry.
Okay, it's okay. Next one is pasteurization. That also comes under heat and cold treatment. Have you seen the milk packets where it is written pasteurized milk, children? Have you seen? No, nobody have seen. Pasteurization is a process in which milk is heated, and that is pasteurization is a process where the milk is heated to 70 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 seconds. Then it will be suddenly cooled and stored. And this is a method by means of which you can prevent or kill the germs present in milk. And you call it as pasteurization because this method was found out by
Louis Pasteur.
Louis Pasteur. Pasteurized milk can be consumed without boiling because, see here it is written, standardized milk, pasteurized standardized milk. So that is safe for drinking. Otherwise, we have to boil it and drink. So once it is pasteurized, we can even drink it without boiling, because during pasteurization, all these microbes will get killed. So you can see the picture of the person who found it out, this method, Louis Pasteur. Once again, I will repeat, pasteurization is a process in which milk is heated to what temperature? 70 degrees Celsius. How long? 15 to 30 seconds, not minutes, 15 to 30 seconds. If you make mistakes in the temperature and the time, you will not get marks. Milk is heated to 70 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 seconds, not minutes, and then suddenly chilled so that the microbes will get killed. And pasteurized milk can be consumed even without boiling, and this method was found out by Louis Pasteur. Okay, what are the different methods that we learned? We learned 4 or 5 methods of food preservation. Which are they? Kiran, just list them out. Just list the methods.
Preservation by salt, vinegar, sugar, oil, pasteurization, heat and cold.
Pasteurization, comes under heat and cold treatment. What is pasteurization, Avnida? What is pasteurization?
The method of
Ma'am, can you say
Yes, Avnida.
the method of heating the milk at 70 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 seconds and then chilling it
Ah,
to prevent the growth of microbes.
very good. Who can repeat it? Jagan, can you repeat it?
Yes.
Jagan Krishna.
Yes, ma'am.
Ah,
Can you
just
hear?
repeat. Ah, I can hear.
Pasteurization is the process by which milk is heated about 70 degrees Celsius for 15 to 13 seconds and
Ah,
then
don't
suddenly
look, don't look. Recollect and tell. It is heated to
Pasteurized.
15 to 30 seconds.
30.
What is the temperature you mentioned?
70 degree
Celsius.
Celsius.
And after that? After that?
And chilled, suddenly chilled.
Okay.
In,
Why this is done? Why this
kill
is
the
done?
microbes.
To kill the microbes. And then we learned that sugar and salt can be used for preserving food. Why, Advait? Why salt and sugar is added? How can it preserve food items? Upon adding salt and sugar, what happens to the food items? What will be reduced?
Microbes.
Microbes will reduce. Who can help him?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, the moisture.
Yes, the moisture content will get reduced. Advait, what gets reduced?
Moisture content.
And thereby the
Yes,
microbes
ma'am.
cannot survive. Okay, is that clear?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, my brother has class. Can I leave?
Oh, yes. You may leave. Thank you, children. See you next class.
Excuse me, ma'am.